everybody, welcome to Crochet, a Canadian crochet podcast. I am your hostess, Claudia. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am back in my basement, and you know what? We're just gonna have to deal with the fact that I live in a house with other people and that there is noise all the time. It is freezing cold in my basement because it is -34 with the wind chill. That's Celsius, but really doesn't matter. Like, are we gonna split hairs when it's that cold? So I'm in my basement. You can hear some of my animals. My kids are playing. My heater is on. All of that stuff. So outside of the background sound, let's get at it. So welcome to 2022. I hope that you all had a safe and, you know what, I hope you had an uneventful holiday season, because I don't love eventful holidays. They usually mean something really bad happened or something really good that you're going to crash after. So I just hope you had what you perceive as an uneventful but still enjoyable holiday over the new year. We didn't do a whole lot. We went to have Christmas dinner because our family celebrates Christmas with my in-laws, so my husband's family, and we took our kids, and everybody was enjoyed there, and they enjoyed it as well. The kids love seeing their cousins, so they were really happy about that. But other than that, not a lot happened. On New Year's Eve, we did our family tradition of making homemade pizzas, which is super fun. So we go and we buy all the ingredients. And after the last time that we ate takeaway pizza, buying your own pizza stuff is not that expensive anymore. It's sad, really. I mean, unless you eat like Little Caesars pizza, which there's nothing wrong with Little Caesars pizza. Don't get me wrong, we eat it fairly often. But if we want the stuffed crust from Pizza Hut, that is no bueno anymore. Too much. Anyway, what else? Oh yes, so with the thing that starts with this letter that we don't talk about, our kids are off of school for another week, which is why I am sequestered to the basement, and I don't have my work set up down here. I was doing it upstairs because it is so cold down here. I am going to try and get it warmed up so I can utilize my second monitor, which I don't really know how to like set it up nicely. I guess I could just take it away, but then I feel the background is so empty by the end of it. Yeah, so I was working today, working from home, but the kids obviously like are bothering me every 5 seconds because, you know, this stuff couldn't have been asked yesterday. Of course, you know how kids are. So this week, like every other, I am going to start with things I am working on, things I finished, an interesting yarn that I purchased, and a little bit of chatting about those kind of things. So we can start with that. We'll start with some almost finished things. I'm like this close. It's like laziness that hasn't got me to finish it. So behind me you can see I have several colors in there too of the Lion brand Wool-Ease Thick and Quick yarns. So I have started, because none of our stockings match and I kind of hate it. I don't hate it. They're just like old and ratty now. Anyway, so I started making our own stockings. This one's mine. It's a mustard color. I forget what the color is actually called, goldenrod or something like that. I could be way off, but I made this for the hang. And then, so the ugly side I'm not showing you is this, where I added in the second ball. And then the heels, it's kind of funny, but I think it worked out the way that I wanted it to. I didn't want like massive giant ones because these will stretch, see? And I've made some before that were like big. Like they were, when they were finished, they were like this wide at the feet, which is like probably 20 centimeters, 25 centimeters. This one isn't that big. This one's like maybe 20. Anyway, and then by the time like they got stretched with stuff, like they looked just awful. So I wanted to go with something a little bit smaller. So this is all, yeah, this is all double crochet, the whole thing. I did double crochet like the hat, and then we got to here, and then I just went, where did I start? Oh, I've done a good job. I can't tell which side I actually started on, but then I just crocheted a few stitches up and then went back and forth or something like that. Oh no, I remember what I did. Sorry. So I went about halfway around, and then I just chained and then went again and again. I think only 3 times, maybe 4. 3, yeah, and then that I left that open. And then I started to, once I was finished on, we'll just say this side because it makes it easier. I just did, what did I have? Crocheted, and then I went back around again. It's not really hard. I don't know. I just sort of like make as I go along as usual. But it turned out just like I liked. So good. Sorry, my ducks are making a weird sound right now. So I just heard them. Hello, and my puppy is here too. I hope you enjoyed the puppy video last time. Let me know if you want more. Anywho, so then when I got to the top here, this I'm actually quite proud of for myself. So you can see this is a double crochet, and then this is the front post double crochet, regular double crochet to make the ribbing. So what I did with that is that when I flipped this over, I went through sort of, okay, I'll show you down here. So this is on the opposite side, but it will demonstrate where it came from. So instead of going into, so in this row, I did go through the top of it to make this second row, but to make the row like, sort of like the braid that has the flip over like that, that went so nicely, I went into this like post thing here, like this line that is just underneath the top of the double crochet. So that's, I would put my yarn in and I did a double row of double crochet underneath there, which made that really lovely ribbing sort of, it's not even ribbing, it's just like the cuff. It's kind of hard to demonstrate. You can see it right here. So it looks like a little braid, but it wants to naturally fold itself without being really big and bulky at the top, which that isn't what I wanted, because I'll show you if I fold it further down, it does this. It's just what I don't care for. I like, so yeah, see it's like poofy at the top, like that. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted like a nice crisp edge. You can see the edge much better there. So I wanted a nice crisp edge on the edge of my stocking, because these are not like the traditional socks that anybody would have worn and then stuck up, but there. So that is that. And I just need to weave in my ends, and this one's finished. So I'll be doing one in gray for my husband, turquoise for my son, and a pink one for my daughter. This took just over one regular ball of this yarn. It was super easy. So yeah, that's that. That is one thing that I have finished. Second, again, out of laziness, like 99% finished, I finished my boho cardigan. This one is definitely a size medium. So I remember how I was talking about how I wasn't sure how this was going to work out. This, I feel like this ended up working out really, really well. It looks really great in person. I just love how all of the colors, they ended up somewhat going together without actually going together. But I think that it's really good. I've ended up liking this a lot more than I thought I was going to. So yeah, again, as you can see, I just haven't woven in the ends. I haven't washed this one yet either. And I need to make sleeves for it, and then it will be ready to go. But it's really like, it's probably an hour's worth of work. But yeah, so there is that. And that, again, that was the Lion brand homespun yarn that I don't love, the homespun yarn. I still have several balls of it left, so I may be making another one. Again, for sale. So yeah, this one is size medium. It would fit someone, gosh, how tall am I? This would fit someone probably about 5'7". Or if you're, I always say measure your wingspan, because that, I feel that does a much better job of accurately sizing this kind of garment. So you would measure from about here, between here and here. You have a little bit of leeway. So you measure from, we'll just say from the wrist to wrist, so this little bone here to this one out this way, like that. You can even do it with a piece of string. And then measure it with the tape measure, because when I list these, I always put what the length of them is. So you can, and it's up to you. If you have longer arms than you are tall, which some people do, you will want to get this based on your wingspan versus your height. Otherwise, it's going to be really short and it'll fit really strangely on you. So that's why I always say go wrist to wrist. But again, if you like it to be a little bit shorter, you can measure it like where this is, or, you know, like there. It doesn't really matter. I try to put about 20 centimeters of cuff on it, because that's what I like. And then if it's a little bit too long, then you always have the option to fold it like this. And then also, I don't usually do ribbed cuffs. I just do a regular cuff. Like, it would probably just be done just double crochet or something like that, but I like it so that you can't tell that there's a definite inside and outside on it. So that's that. Puppy's in trouble again. There's that. Just have a stack. And then in between and New Year's, so I talked to my grandfather on, I think the 23rd of December, maybe the 24th, I can't remember now off the top of my head. It was just before Christmas, that's what I remember. I had this really strong urgency that I needed to make him something, and I knew it wasn't going to be ready in time for Christmas because I had, you know, left it 2 days before. But I knew, I was like, I have to make him something. So I went to make him something. And that something is a temperature blanket. So if you follow me on Instagram, I've posted all the individual squares up. Sorry, I keep looking over there. The puppy is doing things. I'm just watching her. My apologies. attention back to you. If you follow me on Instagram, I have posted the individual squares of this blanket on my page, so you can see what it looks like individual. And if you look at my entire profile as one thing, then you get an idea what the blanket sort of looks like before it was done. So when I posted those squares, I didn't block any of them, which I definitely would doing this again. Or if I do it again, I would block the squares and then I would put them together instead of it doing it the way that I did it, which it's not the end of the world. Like, you can't even really tell that it wasn't blocked. And I will discuss why for this particular one I would definitely block it. But we're running out of time. So his birthday is on February 22nd. I wanted to make sure that I had it finished for then, which obviously is like not an issue right now because I'm done. I don't think I've ever made a blanket so fast in my life. So I did a temperature blanket. So this is from, and let me say this, finding weather data in Canada pre-1945 is insanely difficult. I was able to finally find some, I think from Stats Canada on, oh gosh, it goes way back. But luckily there was a weather station in Winnipeg in 1930, which is when and where my grandfather was born. So I was able to get the data. And there's always a lot of discussion about what you should choose for the highs and lows and things like that. So what I did is I just took the average of every day, and then because it exported the daily high, the daily low, the daily average, but it was to a tenth of a degree Celsius. So I just did the round function in Google. Right. Sorry, the puppy was getting into something. What was I saying? Oh, okay. So I did the round function in Google Sheets because I exported, I feel like this is where I like get really nerdy. So I exported all the data as a CSV, then I brought it all into Google Sheets. And then from there, I did the round function, which if you're wondering how to do that, it's equals the word round, R-O-U-N-D, open parentheses, then the cell that you want to do, then close parentheses, and then you can just drag it the whole way down. So that's what I did. So I had even numbers like to the degree, and it did the self-rounding, so I wasn't doing it myself. Thank you, Google, for incorporating that into your spreadsheets. I really like it. And then from there, I had to decide on a color palette. So I kind of had one in mind to begin with, and for this one, I only used 5 colors, but if I was going to do it again, I think 7 would probably be the minimum that I would do. I would add another on the high end and the low end, but live and learn, right? So yeah, so I did that. And then I thought this was a stroke of genius on my part because I've spoken about being a kinesthetic learner before and then following that as a visual. So I like visual components. Then what I did was I would select the whole row, and then in Google, I think it's format, I can't remember exactly now. In Google Sheets, you can add, so if you could say like if, what I did. So if the temperature is greater than, I think 17 degrees, or like, yeah, it just says the number. So if cell, A2 is greater than 17, then color it this color. Then if it was between like 16 and 9, this color, then 8 and -2, this color. I can't remember the exact math. And again, this would vary depending on where you are. In Canada, we tend to have rather extreme ranges. Like we go from where I live, anyway, plus 35 to minus 35. So that's a 70-degree range that I would have to account for. But someplace with slightly more temperate, you wouldn't have to be as concerned about that, and your colors would like skew higher or whatever. Anyway, that's just something that where I live, we have to be cognizant of. So I figured it out. So I looked at the spread of the degrees, and then I divided it by 5 to see like how many like degrees were in each step, and then that's how I decided. And I color coded that, so it wasn't exact, but it was similar to the colors that I picked. So then I could just like count the colors, the boxes that had colors in them, to know how many stitches or how many rows of each that I had to do. So that sounds super convoluted. It took me like all of 10 minutes, like once I had the data to actually do this. And I would recommend that. I would recommend using a spreadsheet. Get Google Sheets for your phone, put the spreadsheet in there, color code it. It goes super fast. And I attribute that to this big time because I didn't have to spend a ton of time like thinking and counting and like trying to figure it out on the fly. It was already done. So I'll show it to you now. After all that. So this is Winnipeg in January. freezing cold. So the colors that I chose, this dark blue is the coldest that it was. Gray is like medium cold. That's what we would call it. White is like, we would say that that's nice. Like it was nice. It's, I think between 10 and 10, something like that. And where did we get down here? Okay, and then I have this. This is a light brick. I think it's called clay. I could be off. I also posted this in Ravelry, which I will link, and then you can see what colors I used exactly and how much. And then this one, can you see it? It's a little bit hard on camera. Here, this is a much better one. And then this dark color here, this is like the hot weather. That's what we would consider hot. And I want to say it was over 20 degrees, but don't hold me to that. But again, like I said, it doesn't really matter what I picked. It would be different for everybody. And it would be different if you were like, in the winter, I'm going to pick the high numbers, and in the winter I'm going to pick the low numbers, and then in the spring and the summer I pick the average, or like whatever. Like there's so many variables to these projects. I feel like now that I've done this, that I can't say like this is the way to do it. This is just the way that I did it. So yeah, so this I thought was really pretty how this turned out. And then there was one, that one, nope, this one, I loved how this. So the first day it was like nice, and the second day it was okay, and the third day it was nice. So I really like how that turned out. I think it looks so pretty. Just the way, like, I don't know, I'm happy with it. I really like it. So that is that, and July makes me laugh because it was just a hot, hot month in 1930, so it is completely red, which that is why I would go with 7 colors instead of 5 for this, because there was variation in here. But because I had already reached the top end of this, I didn't have any place to go, so it ended up being all this color. But I mean, people from Winnipeg, and I'm not like ragging on you guys, but people from Winnipeg and Manitoba, they like love to tell you how hot it is in the summer. So I was like, you know what, he's gonna get a kick out of like that it was so hot. So yes, I found though, I think November is my favorite month. Like this one's got the opposite of that other one that I showed you, but it's got nice color variation. And then you can see December is not that cold, or not, it's okay, like it's fine. I feel like this is pretty much December all the time. It's like this. January is a terrible month, don't get me wrong, terrible, it's awful. So that is my blanket, and I can't remember if I said, I apologize, I might be reiterating, but I got the idea for the linen stitch squares from TL Yarn Crafts, because that is the blanket she was doing for 2021. Yeah, we're 2022 now. Oh my gosh. She should be posting that like anytime. And hers looks amazing because she had, oh my gosh, I want to say like 13 or 15 colors, but it looks spectacular. But because like I was desperate to get this done, and I don't know why. He's not sick or anything. It's not like I have to like give him this like before. It's just like I need to give something to my grandpa, and this is it. All right, one other thing I wanted to say. So for his birthday, because this is 1930 and this is Winnipeg, there is sort of a denim blue. This one was impeccable. So I did what I don't usually do, and I mixed yarns, which I don't usually do, but it was exact same size. It was perfect. So it looks like kind of like a stonewashed denim color, and I really liked that because it goes with this, but it's different. So that was important to me for this. And I didn't want to use that for the super cold days. So I know that in here, I want to say, okay, so this is a cold snap right here. And I know that there was some variation, and I think it would have looked nicer had it had more like a darker blue to go to, but this was the darkest of this particular spectrum that I could go to before going to black, and I didn't want to do that. So that's that. And then what I did to stitch these all together, so I did a single crochet. It's hard to show this on here. It's easier to see in real life. It's also very staticky still. I washed it and I barely dried it, but it's still like, it's crazy staticky, so I'm hoping to get that out. Oh, right, sorry, before we get into that. Also, I made each of the squares 32 rows to incorporate every month. So February, as you can see, where am I? Oh no, it's all twisted up and it's going the wrong way. Nope, we're on the end of the year. This side, there we go. So bad at this. So February has way more of a white border, so that's what I use like for the gap area, is white on everyone. So this January has 31, so it only had 1, which yes, I know there's more up here, I'll describe after, but this has more obviously. And then just to incorporate, you can do as many as you want. I mean, you can make them all 50, it wouldn't really matter. That's up to you. So that's what I did for that. Okay, so sorry, back to this. So I crocheted, I started at the bottom, so I held up. This part was super awkward, by the way, and but I would do it again because of the size of these squares. If these were little squares, I definitely would find somewhere better to do these. So I started with December through October like this. I put them all side by side, and then I took, where are we at? July, August, and September. So I put the two like wrong sides, like September and December, and I crocheted those across, and then I went to November and August, and then October and July, like that. So then I would have had 6 together. Then I pulled to the top of the July, etc., and I continued doing that for the other rows. And then once all the 3 blocks of each were together, there was a big gap up the 3 sides, or in the middle, or the 2 sides, I guess. So I only did it twice. Then I went back again and did the same thing to close up those holes. So when I got to I made a bridge, this is what I call it. So because I single crocheted over this way, I didn't want to also single crochet over this way because I didn't want like a big lump on there. I thought that would be uncomfortable and it would just like look weird. So I just single crocheted up to the end, or where the edge of this stitch is, and then I did a chain, and then I did single crochet and kept doing that until I got to all of them. So I bridged all of them like that. Once that was finished, I then went into and I crocheted around all of it. So that's that. I'm sorry, I had to cut that off because my video is getting close to that time where it cuts itself off and it doesn't save, and I don't want that to happen because I feel like I've talked a lot already. Anyhow, so the reason that I would block that next time where I'm using the exact same yarn is I found there was some inconsistencies, which again, because it's inexpensive yarn, you're going to come across that. So I have the yarns right here. So all of the colors except this one were the same weight, and I looked at them and they all say that they're the same weight. So here, I'll get a white, because yeah, none of the other ones had this problem. So this one on the label here, see it says 5.5. I don't know what the 2 means. Oh, that's for the, okay, that's for the pattern on there. So maybe it's like the difficulty level. Anyway, but this, I don't even know if you could tell, but this yarn that has the cat hair on it, my bad, story of my life. This is a lot thinner than this one. Let's see if I can get the 2 threads together. Can you see? I know they look very similar. Like, don't get me wrong. When I was holding them, like, they feel roughly the same way. I didn't weigh them, which I probably should have, but that's meh, no big deal. Too late now. But because this one ended up being significantly thinner while I was working with it, so then the squares did not come up to be the same size. So for the September one, for example, that one I stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched, so it was the same to keep the shape. Otherwise it goes, or it was going like this on the blanket, which I was like, ah! So I didn't love that. So next time, yeah. And I didn't realize it while I was in the store because I was like, fantastic, they have the colors that I want, I'm just gonna grab them. And I was really happy about that. So I didn't, also I think next time I would probably spend the money and probably go with the Bernat Premium, because I don't think I've ever had that issue before with a Bernat Premium. If I had to do, like, absolutely have to do it with acrylic yarn, it's pretty standard all the time. So you live and learn. I still enjoy doing it. I would recommend it. I want to make some for my kids for the years they were born, but put something like crazy in there. Like, maybe not this, but something like this. If I could find something that's like this, but like a twisted yarn instead of this eyelash stuff, oh my gosh, that would be incredible. I think that would be so fun. So yeah, that's it. I would do 7 of that and then have like a super fun ball. Although I'm pretty sure the Bernat Premium that I saw at Walmart, you could get one that had gold thread in it and one that had silver. We'll store that away for later. Don't let me forget. Okay, so this is, what am I working on right now? I only have, you'll be so proud of me, sort of. There was a blanket that, do you remember I had it in the Lululemon bag? Well, I lost that. I cannot find it anywhere because I wanted to get a label off of that ball and I don't know where it is. All I know is I put it away so that it would be safe and that I could find it, so now I can't find it, obviously. Oh, the black bottom basket, I found it. Speaking of finding and missing things, I found it. I remembered finally what I had done with it when I was putting the Christmas decorations away, is that I brought all of my workout gear downstairs to the basement where I do all my working out, because I was like, well, like, why why wouldn't I? Like, this doesn't make sense that I wouldn't have my gear all together. So I have it all down here, and I have a little place that I can change that's uninterrupted, so I don't have to worry about that. But that's what happened to my black bottom basket, is that it was full of workout gear. So I'm looking for a different basket, which I have tons of baskets, it's not a big deal, to put my workout gear in so I can keep my crochet stuff in my seagrass basket. Oh, good Lord. Seagrass basket. Maybe it should be called a grasket, like this style, but this is not my black bottom one. Where was I going with this? I think that's the whole story, my bad. Oh, right, so there's things that I've lost, and like that bag. I don't think I have any other blankets on the go. I'm pretty confident that I've done actually really, really well with stuff right now. Like, I'm so happy with myself that I don't have like tons of things just hanging around the house, or that I like things that I plan to do, but I haven't started them, because that's what I'm really bad, is I'll start things and then they just kind of hang out for a long time while I start, because I'll have like 40 things started and then I will work on them as they go, because I don't want to forget about them. Anyway, so that's one thing. I will show you what I am working on. So you all remember the dress. That is what I opened up my whole series with. So I'm going to show you this, and you may remember that originally this was a round yoke neck, and it is not anymore. It is square. I pulled the whole thing out. This is sock yarn called Walk Like a Man. It's a perfect pair. God St. Michael's. It's bamboo and wool. That's right. Okay, so I have a story about why I want to do this. So the reason I was looking for that other bag with the blanket is because that I know that I have a bunch of blue, and it's really pretty. Like, I know like dark colors suit me. I just have like that complexion, like the mid-range dark colors are great, which is why I like these, because it's like muted. I don't know, I think it looks good with me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, there was a blue in that bag that I knew that I wanted, and I knew that I had 3 balls of it, and I was like, fantastic, that will be loads to make what I want to make. So I wanted to make a little like running jumper for myself, or a pullover sweater, because I have a long sleeve shirt and it is neon, like it's neon coral, and I love it, but I wanted something that's a little bit better for winter, and I can wear the neon coral underneath, which I know like these colors look great on me, but that coral looks like it's made for me. No, seriously, like I love it. So I only have one long sleeve shirt, which my favorite thing to wear, and many people laugh at me, and I really don't know why, but I do. I love to wear when I work out is I love a long sleeve shirt and shorts, and sometimes long socks, but not always. But that's my favorite thing to wear. So it's funny that I mostly have like pants and tank tops. When it's hot out, oh absolutely, I wear a tank top and I wear my shorts. They're the Nike Pro Compression, which I got secondhand, and I love them. They're great. I would only ever buy them secondhand. I would never buy them firsthand. So all of that to say is the dress has turned into this now because I wanted a long sleeve running shirt. So I like that it does, like so far it doesn't really go together. This is the back. And what am I doing with this? Oh, right. I don't know this is my work in progress. So this is this. I'm just going to put the ball down here because it's in danger of rolling away. What I am doing with this, I made a ribbed top for around my neck. It's going to sit about there, which again, I like. And it sounds really gross, but just bear with me. But I am fairly sweaty once I get going, which is fine. But I want something to catch the sweat because I don't like the feeling of it running down me. I feel like that is disgusting. I hate that when you feel it trickle down the middle of your back. Ugh, I don't like it. So I wanted something that's high because then it'll catch. And again, this is weird too. I have the earphones that go over your ears, and I sweat around them, and it'll run. It runs down here. I'm really painting myself in a great light right now, aren't I? This is just who I am. Honestly, I'm just, you know, hey, I'm Claudia. I'm a little bit gross. So that was the idea for this. But so I was looking for this other yarn. Oh my goodness. I'll get there, I promise. Because I wanted to see the wool content in it. Because wool is naturally, it is absorbent, but it keeps you warm. Because I don't want something like cotton, because cotton, yeah, it absorbs great. That's why we use it for dishcloths. That's why it's so successful for that. I didn't want something as thick as the cotton, like the Bernat Handicrafter cotton. And I also, for something that I'm going to sweat in, I don't want to spend a ton on. Granted, it's beautiful, this beautiful like flax and cotton yarn that I found at the yarn store, but it's like less than lace weight. It's like maybe you could use like a 1 millimeter hook on it. It's so fine and thin, but it's beautiful. It would be great because it comes in beautiful colors. I want to see the wool content because wool provides these properties. My light just went out. I'm so sorry. My light just cut out there. I have never had that happen before. I'm hoping it's just because it feels a little bit too warm. I don't know. I've been talking for a long time, granted. My apologies. Where was I? Oh yes, wool. I wanted wool. I would love to get merino wool. I cannot justify spending $50 per skein for it and knowing that I'd have to buy at least 5 to make something like this. So again, in the interest of using what you have, I was excited when I realized this is bamboo and wool. I am terrible at mixing my words together today, obviously. So that is where we're going with this. And this is not very far done. This is such slow going. I think it's probably going to be one and done for these. I like how it's turning out. I love the colors, how it's going. And then what I did is I did double crochet around the neck with 2 front post double crochets and a single crochet to get the ribbing for this. And that's the same that I'm going to do for the cuffs and the waistband. It's going to be somewhat cropped. So I'm going to I want it to come to approximately, my hip is right here. So I think I'm going to want it to come here, maybe slightly below that, maybe down here. We'll see once, like I will be trying this on when it gets to that point to see what it looks like and where I want it to fit. But I want to have long, long, long sleeves. So like to here, I don't know, can you guys see this? It's hard, it's awkward on there. To like right about here, possibly here, and have a thumb hole. So I'm going to have to adjust where I start. I will have to be starting instead of, so this one, where's my seam? It's right here. So I usually like to start underneath here because then it's not visible for everyday use, but I'm going to be putting the seam more up this way so it will go across my arm, and then I don't have to make another hole for the thumb hole. It'll just be incorporated in there. And again, I'm not wearing this to win any beauty awards. This is like to keep me warmer while I'm running. But that's what I'm going to do. So the sleeves, it's going to be like semi-raglan style. So the back it's double crochet, but instead of going into the top of the stitch, I'm going in between like the posts. So it gives it a little bit more of this like, what would I call this? Like net appearance. And then the arms, the sleeves, it's a very subtle difference. So those, you can just see there's like more space and then slightly less space. And the stitches are also a bit longer on here because of that. So yeah, the back is that open, like the open double crochet. This is regular double crochet for the arms so far. And then for the top of this yoke here, I've been doing, it's hard to see. It's alpine stitch adjacent. It's not quite how you do an alpine stitch, but I wanted something that was textured just for interest's sake. And I don't know, it's not photographing well. This stuff is like the opposite of that beautiful gray yarn that I had that I used to make those gauntlets that it filmed phenomenally. This stuff does not film phenomenally. It films like crap. I don't like it. But I don't, it's hard. You know what I'm going to do is I will take some pictures for Instagram and for Ravelry, and then I will post them there so that hopefully we can get a better assessment of what this looks like. All that being said is I think it looks so pretty. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the whole top like that. At first I was doing regular double crochets and then doing a chain and skipping it to try to make a pattern, and then I was kind of forgetting where I was at, and then I got grid paper out and it was taking too long, and I was like, you know what, this isn't even ending up how I wanted to end up, because I thought it would be fun to have like an argyle pattern, but then I was just like, because this is such a busy yarn in this way, I feel like it really took away from the fact that you could see an argyle pattern. If I had stayed with that plain blue that I was looking for originally, that I think is 30% wool, then I would have done it because then you could see it because it's so plain. But I frogged this several times in the past 3 days. 3 days? I'm only been working on this too, sorry. Yeah, there was a day all I did was frog. But so far, I am happy with how this is working out. I have made this kind of shirt and sweater before many, many, many times. It is this one only back to front. So like this side here will be the front, and then you can see the raglan, like it's raglan style like that. And I'm hoping that translates decently once it's on, but we never know. There's many times that these things don't quite work out how you think they're going to, but so far, yeah. And you can see it here when they're side by side. Yeah, see, so there's the the regular double crochet, and then there's this one where you go like, instead of in the top, you kind of go in between the 2 stitches. I don't know, I like it. I think it's pretty. It looks really nice. I'm happy with how this is turning out. I am not going to frog this again. If this doesn't work out, I will give it to somebody else to frog, because I cannot stand, no more frogging with this. No more. We're done. So that is the only thing that I am working on outside of the blanket that I have lost, which is not important because that was my car project anyway. So there's that. And then I did buy yarn because I wanted to make that for my grandpa's blanket, and because Michael's for still having the Boxing Week sale on, I got this yarn for literally no reason other than I thought it was fun. It's again, this is not photographing very well. It is neon pink, neon yellow, and this pretty, I wouldn't call it neon, but it's like a very pretty turquoise color, and then sort of a grayish purple. Let's see, this one show up? It just looks gray on camera, that's too bad. Anyway, I don't know why I got this. I was just like, oh, it's fun. And then I spent a few minutes looking for matching colors to go with this, because I thought this would be a really great accent color for something, or to use as I unfortunately stated, my baseball for another project. But do you think there was anything that went? No. The hot pink that they had next to this, while it looked similar, when I actually I pulled the string out so I could put it on top, the other one was, granted, it was really pretty, but it was a coral color, not this really bubble gummy pink. So I don't know what to make with this. I have one ball. I'm not going to go get any more because I don't want to. It is the Impeccable brand from Michael's. It was, I don't know, it's cheapy. It's acrylic. So if you have any ideas what I could do with this, and please don't say toque, because we have a million toques because we live in Canada, and that's the thing that I always make when I'm like, I don't know what to make. I make a toque. So it could be something that has planned pooling, because the size of the color variations are very, very close. So if you know of something that's smallish, that would be planned pooled. How do you planned pooling? What is it? I know it's planned pooling, but what's the verb of that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I am also happy to learn some other thing, because this is only a single ball. Maybe we can make something for the puppy. I don't know. But I'm happy to hear what you guys have, what you would suggest for this, because I'm all ears. Because it is a new year, I got myself a new planner, because I am a planner. I need a planner. This one's getting to be a mess already, but I love it. So I put the stickers on myself. These were from Michael's. They were the something collections. You can get this stuff in their planner section of the store, and it's where the Happy Planner has theirs, but it's the Michael's version of that. So these are just plain stickers that I've had forever, and I just wanted to get them used up now because I've had them for 4 years. And I did the back as well. And then that way I also know this one's mine. I put a little sticker that says 2022 on the spine. And this is the first year that I have purchased this one. I got it on Amazon, and it's called Mokani, I believe, M-O-K-A-N-I. You can see the title there. And I chose it because while it's outside of, I'm going to show you a page that I have nothing written on. So this is right here. This is your week. I usually don't really like this style, and I will explain why. But I typically much prefer a vertical layout where everything is like this, because then I feel like I can track everything by day that I need to. But the reason I was drawn to this is because those things that I would usually list in the days are taken care of on this other page here. So I was a big fan of bullet journaling before, and you can somewhat do that with this. It doesn't quite work the same, but I like this layout a little bit better because I don't have to write. So this is my habits here. So if I wrote yoga, for example, I would have to do that on a bullet journal. I'd have to write that every single day, whereas on here I write the word yoga once, and then I put an X or whatever across on the days that I did it. So I like that, because otherwise that would fill up space in my day. It's taken care of here. And notes and things, I can write things that I have to do for these notes on here, but this is overall type things. This is a weekly goal. So this one, and again, the reason I was really into this is because, and I haven't written stuff in here, I've just been playing with stickers. So I have rituals, daily things that I want to do. So I have to fill these things out still. I haven't done them yet. but I liked it because it's like, it's goal oriented without being like the fitness ones, because I feel a lot of the goal oriented ones, like they're really focused, and I understand why those are appealing to people, but for me, I like things that are open-ended because my focus often changes, and while it's hard for me to be dedicated to a specific thing, which it is hard to explain. So like everybody, I have a lot of interests, and depending on the time of year, like it definitely really shifts what I'm into. So like I was talking about running, like running has been a part of my life for the past 5 years, and it goes and stops and starts because sometimes I'm like, well, like I just went hiking, do I need to go running? Because like I literally walked for 17 kilometers. Like I don't really need to run. And then also when it's like -30 for 3 weeks at a time, it's really hard to go outside and run. So that's when I like typically delve into crochet, or there's things that I'm like, I need to get these things read because I've had them for a long time, or like stuff like that. Like my hobbies, like things ebb and flow. So when I have tried using planners before that are like really specific to like meditation, for example, I found myself like, I feel like it's a waste of money because I don't end up using it the way that it was intended. So I like this one because it's more like, while goal focused, it's more open-ended, and then I have the ability to decide what I want to focus on for that week even, which is great. And then I don't like feel ashamed that I spent all this money on a planner. You may be asking yourself, why do I even have a planner if I'm always like, oh, use Google Calendar? Because sometimes you can't keep track of like if I've done yoga every day on Google Calendar, or Google To Do, and I don't like it for that. I like it, that's just not the way that I use my Google Calendars. The Google Calendars are for like, honestly, it's like for me and my husband to make sure that like I know what appointments he has, what business things are going on, and then what doctor's appointments I have, so that he's not calling me while I'm at the doctor being like, hey, did you pick up blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, well, no, I'm in the middle of a pelvic exam, you know, for example. And then, you know, it helps us, oh yeah, and the kids' holidays and things like that. So it helps us keep informed like as a family, and that's the way that we use the tool. I also use it for meal planning while it's like on the fly. So I find it really helpful for that because I put in what we're having that day, and then anybody can see what we're having, and it's not written in stone. I can move things around. And I also use Google Shopping List on our Google HomePod because I'm just like, hey Google, put milk on the shopping list, makes it super easy. So that there is a time and a place for digital things, but I feel like my like day-to-day things, like that's not the place to be. Also, if I'm ever someplace where I don't really like to use mobile data, so I really like, I don't. But if I'm someplace like I'm camping and people are like, oh yeah, like, do you want to go on a hike on blah, blah, blah. Like I can't just pull up Google Calendars because I don't have any reception. I still like to have a version here, and also I like this because then I can go back over time and like I've put little notes in about things, or like that the kids have said, or you know, just funny stuff like that. And it's like a little bit, diary is like way too strong of a word for how I use them, but so I'm giving this year a try. So far I like it. Granted, we're only in the 2nd week, but like 3rd, 4th day, whatever we're at, 5. What day is it? Oh my gosh, that's one thing. I cannot keep track of what day it is, even though I have the day on my phone and the day on my watch. Like, I don't know what day it is, ever. It's been like, days have been meaningless since we've been sent home due to COVID. Like, I don't like it. I don't love it. And then, final thing that I have, this is not really new. I've used these pens for years, but this is what I use for my day planners, is because this is the, I think it's, who makes these? Pilot. Okay, they're called friction pens. This one is a 0.5 that I prefer. I actually usually like the black ink more than the blue ink, but this is all I could find at the time. This is one thing I'm having a hard time getting rid of for plastic consumption. It used to be that you could purchase new refills for this, and I may look again, like you could just get these instead of having to throw the whole pen away, which it's still plastic, but it's better than nothing. I do have a fountain pen that I can use with ink, but I haven't quite mastered how to do it yet, so I always get ink all over my fingers. Plus, it tends to leak, and I don't want to put that in my purse and have like a big ink stain in there that I can't get out. So I like these pens because they're erasable and I don't feel like I have to commit to anything, but I don't like the feeling of pencil and I don't want to have to carry around a pencil sharpener with me. So this is my go-to. This is my preferred thing. These come in a couple of different sizes. They come in several colors. Like I said before, I usually go for the black. This one's blue because this is all that they had at the time. I think that I bought this set of pens when like the Suez Canal was like a big thing, so there was like nothing to be had of anything. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad that we could have a chance to sit down and chat, and I would encourage you, because I was looking at my stats, so many of you who watch these are not subscribed. Go and subscribe right now, please, because I bring you content every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I sit down and I chitter-chatter about all of these fun things. And sometimes I review patterns, which I really love to bring back again, but I don't have any for this week. So give me a like, because that really helps my channel. It helps promote it to other people who might be interested. Please give me a subscribe so that you know when I am uploading videos, and hit the notification button if you're like, I can't wait till next Wednesday. I'm not gonna remember to sign in and look. Hit the bell. It'll tell you. Your phone will be like, hey, you know what? Claudia put her video up. You should go watch it, which you should. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all of you guys. I'm so glad that you subscribed, and I hope that I see you again next week. Bye!